Hey Lions fans! We all know that defense wins championships, and if there's one position that holds it all together, it's the linebacker group. Let's see what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have in store for the Lions. Before we dive into today's exclusive news from the NFL Combine, be sure to hit that like button so you don't miss any breaking news updates on our Detroit Lions. And comment below, I'm a Lions at heart. Let's get to it. Our own defensive coordinator, Kelvin Shepard, made it clear at the NFL Scouting Combine that linebackers are a major focal point for this team. Now, Shepard isn't just talking. He played that position himself in the NFL. He knows firsthand how crucial linebackers are to uniting the defensive line and secondary. That's why he's diving deep into this year's linebacker class. And Lions fans, there's some serious talent on the board. The Lions are heading into this draft with a big decision to make. We have Alex Anzalone and Jack Campbell returning as starters, but beyond that, it's a bit shaky. Derek Barnes, Ben Neiman and Ezekiel Turner are all set to hit free agency when the new league year begins on March 12th. Anthony Pittman and Trevor Nowask? They're restricted free agents. That means the Lions could be looking to reload at linebacker, and Shepard wants to make sure they have the right guy. Now, here's where things get interesting. Shepard has made it clear that he's looking for a linebacker with elite skill, not just someone who's decent at a bunch of things but doesn't excel in one key area. He's been evaluating prospects like Jihad Campbell, Alabama, Jalen Walker, Georgia, and Demetrius Knight Jr., South Carolina. These guys bring a mix of speed, versatility, and playmaking ability, something our defense could use more of. The linebackers will be on the field for on-field drills on Thursday, and you can bet Shepard will be watching closely. And speaking of versatility, Shepard highlighted how important it is to have linebackers who understand both the run and pass game. That was a major issue for the Lions last season, especially when Anzalone missed 6 games with a broken forearm. So, could a guy like UCLA's Carson Schweissinger be a fit? He's got great coverage skills, and let's be honest, we need a linebacker who can hold his own in coverage so we're not getting picked apart by elite QBs. Schweissinger recorded 136 tackles, 4 sacks, 4 passes defended, and 2 interceptions last season. That's the type of production the Lions could use in the middle of their defense. Another name to watch? Jay Higgins out of Iowa. He played alongside Jack Campbell in college and has praised the Lions linebacker for his leadership. Higgins himself racked up 125 tackles, 3 sacks, and 5 interceptions over the past 2 seasons. He understands that the NFL is becoming a passing league, and if you're a linebacker who can't cover, teams will replace you with a bigger defensive back. That's the type of awareness and mentality you want from a young prospect. Now, if we're talking about pure versatility, Jalen Walker from Georgia is a name that keeps popping up. This guy played 4 different positions in a single series at Georgia. Whether it's linebacker, edge, off-ball, you name it, he's done it. In 43 career games, he posted 89 tackles, 12.5 sacks, and 3 passes defended. That kind of flexibility could be a huge asset for the Lions. And let's not forget Alabama's Jihad Campbell. He's being called Mr. Do-It-All for a reason. Last season alone, he had 117 tackles, 12 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, an interception, and 2 forced fumbles. Teams have talked to him about playing every linebacker spot, and his ability to drop deep into coverage in a Tampa 2 scheme is exactly what Shepard wants in his defense. The bottom line? Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell have some tough choices ahead. They've made it clear they aren't a needs-based drafting team, they want the best football player available. But given the attrition at linebacker, it's safe to say that bolstering this group is a real possibility. And Shepard's philosophy is clear. He's not building a scheme and then finding players to fit it. He's getting the right players and building the scheme around them. That's the kind of player-first approach that can take this defense to the next level. So now, Lions fans, I want to hear from you. Do you think the Lions should prioritize drafting a linebacker in the early rounds? Or should they stick to their philosophy of taking the best player available? Drop your thoughts in the comments. The Detroit Lions made what was probably the easiest decision of the offseason when they promoted Kelvin Shepard to defensive coordinator. From the moment Aaron Glenn left, there was no doubt that Shepard was the guy for the job. If you've been following the Lions closely, you probably saw this coming, and honestly, it's hard not to be excited about what this means for the defense moving forward. Shepard has been ready for this moment. We saw glimpses of it back in 2022 when he took charge of the linebackers room on Hard Knocks, and that presence only grew in 2024 when he commanded the attention of the entire defense on the sidelines. But what really sold me was sitting down with him at the 2025 NFL Combine. That conversation took my thoughts from he's going to be really good at this. One of the most intriguing things Shepard revealed was an exercise he used with his linebackers every week. At the end of each week, he'd pull up game film and have his guys make the defensive calls. He wanted them to think like Aaron Glenn, to anticipate what he would call in any given situation. You guys should know what he's about to call, Shepard said. Ford Field's gotten to a point where you might not be able to hear the microphone. Well, you should be able to look at the personnel, look at the down and distance, and be able to make a call. That's not far-fetched from what AG would have called. That level of preparation and anticipation is invaluable, especially in a game situation where things are moving fast and communication is difficult. Shepard's goal is to get the defense so locked in that they're always on the same wavelength, always anticipating the next move. That kind of unity and instinctive play could be the difference between a good defense and a truly elite one. Now, shifting gears to another big story, Brad Holmes made it pretty clear that the Lions are planning to make a big splash at pass rusher this offseason. When asked directly if Detroit would be adding another star edge rusher, Holmes' answer was simple: probably not. This might come as a surprise to some, especially after the Lions' pass rush struggled following Aiden Hutchinson's season-ending injury. But Holmes explained that elite edge rushers are hard to come by. It's hard. There's not a lot of those guys available, Holmes said. Just because we lost a star pass rusher doesn't mean another team is going to say, hey, we have one, would you like him? No, that's their guy, and they're trying to win games too. Holmes also pointed out the financial challenge of acquiring another star pass rusher, especially with Hutchinson due for an extension soon. The Lions have built their team through the draft, and they plan to continue that approach rather than making a massive free agency signing or trade. We have one that's due for an extension, and we've already started planning for that, Holmes said. So when you talk about adding another one, it's like, well, all right, can you financially add another one? Because you want to add the other one on top of everything else you have, and that makes it tough. It's clear that the Lions' strategy is long-term sustainability. Holmes mentioned the young talent already on the roster, guys like Kirby Joseph and other recent draft picks, and how keeping those players in Detroit is a priority. That stuff starts adding up, and you gotta make some tough decisions, Holmes said. We've already started a lot of that work in terms of preparation and planning. So unless Holmes is pulling off a masterclass in deception, don't expect the Lions to go after a big-name pass rusher this offseason. Instead, they're focused on keeping their core together and developing their young talent. Lions fans, what do you think about all this? Are you confident in Shepard leading the defense? Do you trust Holmes' strategy of sticking with homegrown talent instead of making a big splash? Drop your thoughts in the comments, I want to hear from you. And before you go, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. We've got plenty more Lions news coming your way, and you won't want to miss it. See you in the next one.